Only one actor has played James T. Kirk's mother in Star Trek since the franchise began almost 6 decades ago. So far, only one actor has played Winona Kirk, the mother of Star Trek's Captain James T. Kirk, Chris Pine. Throughout the entire Star Trek franchise, Winona Kirk has only appeared in the opening scenes of Star Trek 2009. While the USS Kelvin is being evacuated, Winona goes into labor much earlier than expected. Winona contacts her husband, Lieutenant George Kirk Chris Hemsworth, the first officer of the USS Kelvin, who is going down with the starship. Before George's death, Winona and George give the future captain of the USS Enterprise his famous name, James Tiberius Kirk. In the Kelvin timeline Star Trek movies, Kirk's birth occurs at the same time as the pivotal event that splits the Prime timeline and Kelvin timelines, so seeing James Kirk's parents on screen matters more than in Star Trek, the original series. Pine's Kirk being born at the same time as his father's death heaps much more guilt on the young Jim Kirk, making Kelvin Kirk less sure of himself and more cynical. Kirk's mother, Winona, is referenced in Star Trek Into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond, but doesn't appear on screen in any subsequent Star Trek movie or show. Jennifer Morrison is the only actor to play Kirk's mother in Star Trek. Jennifer Morrison is the only actor to play Winona Kirk, the mother of Captain James T. Kirk, in any Star Trek timeline. In the Kelvin timeline, Winona Kirk eventually remarried and raised her sons in Iowa. During James Kirk's freewheeling, Corvette-stealing introductory scene in Star Trek, Winona is away from home. It's implied that James and Sam are being cared for by an absent stepfather while Winona is gone. It's never stated exactly what Winona Kirk does for a living, but Star Trek writers Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci speculated Winona was also a Starfleet officer, like George. Before Jennifer Morrison played Winona Kirk in 2009 Star Trek, she had already starred as the lead in Urban Legends, Final Cut. Morrison went on to earn several smaller or guest-starring television credits before playing immunologist Dr. Allison Cameron in House for 6 seasons. Morrison played Zoe in a 13-episode arc of How I Met Your Mother, then starred as lead character Emma Swan in the fantasy drama series Once Upon a Time. Morrison made her feature directorial debut with 2017's Sundogs, and has since directed several episodes of television, including Dr. Death and Yellowjackets. Star Trek still hasn't introduced James Kirk's parents in the Prime timeline. William Shatner's Kirk only referenced his father occasionally, and never talked about his mother in Star Trek, the original series. Instead, most of what we know about Kirk's parents in the Prime timeline comes from Star Trek Strange New Worlds, in scenes where Paul Wesley's James Kirk talks about his mother and father. Strange New Worlds Kirk is the favored child of George Kirk, compared to Dan Jean-luc's Sam Kirk. Very little is said about Winona, only that she followed George's Starfleet postings with their 2 sons. For a character as iconic as James T. Kirk, Star Trek has explored surprisingly little of his family over the decades. While fans know him as the fearless, passionate captain of the USS Enterprise, the woman who raised him, his mother, has largely stayed in the shadows. In fact, despite nearly 60 years of Star Trek storytelling across TV shows, films, reboots, and alternate timelines, only one actor has ever officially portrayed Kirk's mother, Jennifer Morrison. Morrison stepped into the role of Winona Kirk in J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek reboot. Her appearance was brief but emotionally powerful, delivering a gut-wrenching performance as she gave birth to James Tiberius Kirk aboard a fleeing shuttle while her husband, George Kirk, sacrificed his life on the USS Kelvin. It was a moment that forever shaped Kirk's destiny and Star Trek canon, giving audiences a rare, intimate glimpse at his origins. What's astonishing is that no other actress has ever played Winona Kirk on screen, in any timeline or version of the franchise. Shows like Strange New Worlds, which reimagine parts of the classic era, have introduced alternate Kirks and new layers of Starfleet history, yet Winona remains untouched. Morrison's singular portrayal has left a lasting legacy, one that subtly underscores how Kirk's character was born from both chaos and courage. Her short screen time provided depth and a unique humanity to a legendary captain often defined by bravado and brilliance. Nearly 6 decades on, Winona Kirk is a one-act performance, but it's one that still echoes across the stars.